a child's companion. A silent witness to the terror of the night, preserved in the freezing dark. The last menu. A list of delicacies for a night that would end in disaster. The music that never stopped. A silent tribute to the band that played until the ocean claimed them. Contraband? The Lusitania's cargo remains one of the greatest mysteries of the Great War, a secret buried in the sand. The unsinkable legend, now a cathedral of rust. While Titanic remains a monument, Lusitania is a battlefield, torn apart by war and tide. Navigating the Lusitania is a nightmare of tangled nets and collapsed steel. The heart of the beast, 4 stories tall, now silent forever.
Lusitania's propellers. They once pushed this ship to 25 knots.
The bridge of the Titanic. From here, the order hard a starboard was given. An order that changed history. On Lusitania, the bridge didn't just sink. It was crushed by the sheer violence of the descent. Lusitania rests in the sunlight zone. Titanic lies in the midnight zone, where the pressure is 380 times greater than at the surface. A shoe. A silent witness to a life lost. In the deep, leather survives where bone does not.
Lusitania's China, still bearing the crest of the Cunard Line, waiting for a dinner service that never came.
The stern of the Titanic, a chaotic graveyard of steel, crushed by the pressure as it spiraled to the bottom. The Grand Staircase, once the height of Edwardian a traveler's suitcase. Packed for a journey to Liverpool, now a permanent resident of the Irish Sea. Now, only the ghosts of luxury remain, buried under a century of sediment. Lusitania's smoking room, once filled with the scent of fine cigars, now washed clean by the Atlantic tides. The human cost. Titanic's tragedy was a failure of safety. Lusitania's was a crime of war. 94 children lost. A typewriter. A tool for communication, now frozen in a world of silence. Contraband? Lusitania's cargo remains one of the greatest mysteries of the Great War.
Target locked. Fire torpedo 1.
Third class. For many, this was a journey toward a new life. It became a tomb of iron. A reminder of the innocent lives caught in the crossfire of empires. Titanic's boilers. When they hit the cold water, they exploded with the force of 1,000 bombs. The fatal wound. A single torpedo opened a door that could never be closed. Time stopped here at 2:20 a.m., April 15th. A moment frozen in rust. The captain's eyes. Through these lenses, the horizon was scanned for a danger that came from below. Titanic is being reclaimed by the Earth. Lusitania remains a victim of human violence, even in death. And secrets dissolved in the deep. A name that will never be forgotten. But the Battle of the Atlantic's graveyards is far from over. The coal bunkers. Some believe the torpedo ignited the coal dust, causing the fatal second explosion. 6 for days, weakening the very steel meant to protect her. A stoker's boot. These men fought the fire and the flood until the very end, deep in the bowels of the ship. The Veranda Cafe. Once a sun-drenched garden at sea, now an underwater forest of anemones. Titanic's Café Parisien. A touch of France in the middle of the Atlantic, now a skeleton of its former self. The last menu. A list of delicacies for a night that would end in disaster.
Acheron, your battery is critical. Get out of there, now!
Full ahead. Captain Turner's last command to outrun the U-boat, frozen in brass.
The wheelhouse. Here, the struggle to avoid the iceberg was lost in the silence of the deep. The missing binoculars, a locked cabinet, a missing key, and a horizon that remained hidden until it was too late. The crow's nest. The first place to see the danger, now the first to succumb to the weight of time.
Lusitania's mast. A fallen giant, now a reef for the creatures of the Irish Sea.
A megaphone, once used to shout warnings across the deck, now a vessel for the silence of the abyss. Cargo hold number 2, the Forbidden Zone. What was really inside these crates that caused such a violent end? The second blast was internal. It didn't just sink the ship, it shattered her soul. Remington cartridges. Proof that the innocent passenger liner was carrying the tools of war. The expansion joint. Designed to let the ship breathe, it became the point where she finally broke. A single rivet, brittle iron filled with slag. A small flaw that led to a monumental disaster.
Lusitania's steel was superior, more ductile. It bent under the blast, but even the best steel couldn't withstand a direct hit from a torpedo.
Titanic is being consumed from within by iron-eating bacteria. Lusitania is being buried by the sea itself, fragile as a dream. The very structure of the Titanic is turning into dust, returning to the ocean floor. Lusitania's davits. They swung out in panic, but the ship's list made them useless, leaving hundreds to face the cold water. The empty boat deck. A haunting reminder of the 1,500 souls left behind because of a lack of space. Lifeboat number 6. One of the few that carried survivors away from the sinking giant. A child's companion. A silent witness to the terror of the night, preserved in the freezing dark. A lifebelt that failed its mission. In the chaos of the Lusitania, even the tools of survival became symbols of loss. 2:20 a.m. The exact moment the Titanic disappeared from the surface, forever etched in gold.
Acheron is coming home. Mission Part 2 complete.
The Turkish baths. A hidden sanctuary where the colors of 1912 still defy the darkness of the abyss.
On Lusitania, the luxury of the galley has been crushed into a chaotic heap of copper and iron.
The first swimming pool at sea, now filled with the silt of a century, a silent pool of memories. Lusitania's Grand Lounge, once a palace of glass and light, now a shattered mosaic on the ocean floor.
Acheron, you're snagged. Reverse thrusters now.
The music that never stopped. A silent tribute to the band that played until the ocean claimed them.
A life jacket that couldn't save its owner from the speed of the disaster.
The open door. A fatal mistake by the crew, allowing the ocean to swallow the Titanic even faster.
Looking out from the wound. A view of the ocean that became a predator.
Deep inside the veins of the giant. A labyrinth of steel that once carried the power of steam. A chandelier. Once the sun of the Grand Saloon, now a fallen star in the mud. Lusitania's lights. Extinguished in an instant by the violence of the war. A single shot. A weapon of precision designed to bring down a giant. Titanic didn't explode. She was unzipped, rivet by the silent power of the ice. A stoker's shovel. a simple tool that fought a losing battle against the Atlantic.
A shell casing. Proof that the Lusitania was more than just a passenger ship.
Titanic's cranes. Once used to load the riches of the world, now they lift only the shadows of the past.
On Lusitania, even the strongest machines were crushed by the violence of her descent.
Acheron, use the cutter. Don't let that net pull you in.
Rusticles. A biological community of bacteria slowly eating the Titanic from the inside out.
Halomonas titanici, a species discovered on this very wreck, destined to consume it entirely.
On Lusitania, the ocean acts as a giant sandblaster, slowly grinding the steel into nothingness.
A vintage preserved by the pressure. A toast to a world that vanished a century ago. A taste of Ireland, shattered by the war. Even the simplest pleasures were not spared. Captain Stone's bathtub. A domestic detail in a monumental tragedy, preserved in the freezing dark. On Lusitania, the captain's quarters have been reclaimed by the sea, leaving only fragments of a life at sea.
Silverware that still shines. A reflection of a world that thought it was unsinkable. The shadow of the Titanic. A monument to human pride, resting in the eternal silence of the abyss. Acheron is ascending, leaving the ghosts behind. Mission Part 3 complete. The Marconi Room. From this very spot, the world first heard the cry of a dying legend.
On Lusitania, the call for help was cut short by the speed of the disaster. Silence claimed her in just 18 minutes.
The stern of the Titanic, a chaotic graveyard of steel, crushed by the pressure as it spiraled to the bottom.
Lusitania's propellers, a marvel of engineering, now a target for scavengers in the shallow Irish Sea.
Nature is reclaiming the Titanic. These rusticles are the slow, biological clock of her final disappearance.
On Lusitania, the ocean acts as a giant sandblaster, slowly grinding the steel into nothingness.
2:20 a.m. The exact moment the Titanic disappeared from the surface, forever etched in gold.
A silver spoon from the Lusitania, a remnant of a lunch service that was violently interrupted by war.
Boiler Room 1, the deepest part of the ship, where the fires of ambition were finally extinguished by the sea. The cargo hold of the Lusitania, a forbidden zone filled with the secrets of a global conflict.
The grand staircase, once the height of Edwardian elegance, now a gateway to the abyss. Lusitania's dining saloon, once filled with the scent of fine cuisine, now washed clean by the Atlantic tides.
Halomonas titanica, a species discovered on this very wreck, destined to consume it entirely.
The shallow sea is a machine that grinds everything to dust. Lusitania is being buried by the very ocean she once ruled.
A pair of shoes, a silent witness to a life lost. In the deep, leather survives where bone does not. Lusitania's china, still bearing the crest of the Cunard Line, waiting for a dinner service that never came. Navigating the Titanic is a journey through a labyrinth of rust and memories, where every corner holds a secret. A hidden safe. What riches or secrets does it still hold, protected by the crushing weight of the Atlantic? Contraband? The Lusitania's cargo remains one of the greatest mysteries of the Great War, a secret buried in the sand.
Do the spirits of the past still linger in these halls?
The ocean floor is not silent. It echoes with the screams of the past, frozen in the crushing dark. In a few decades, the Titanic will be gone,
a memory dissolved in the salt and the dark. Lusitania will be buried by the sea she once ruled, a secret kept by the tides forever.
Goodbye, Titanic. May you find peace in the eternal dark.
Goodbye, Lusitania.
Two titans, two tragedies. One taken by nature, the other by man. Both haunting the Atlantic forever. We build, we sail, we dream. But in the end, the ocean always has the last word. The Atlantic's greatest graveyards. Gone.
Subscribe to Wreck Archives for more journeys into the deep. Until next time.